Prediction Markets Edge right here on the early line. The time is ours, and over the next half hour, solid ways to invest your funds here outside of a sports book. That's what we do. Teach, educate, have some fun, and hopefully be profitable here. It's Sonny Right Side. It's Joe Ranieri. We're underway, Joe. We're ready to go.
We are ready to go, Donnie, and excited because we got a couple of, shall we say, favorites who lost game ones in the finals here in the NHL as well as the NBA. So does that mean maybe we can buy low on some of these teams here for game two?
Exactly. Look, you go down 0-2, particularly, Joe, in your own building. It is an absolute wrap on that series. These teams forcing kitchen sink games in game number 2. Should be fun to watch it play out. But as always, on Prediction Markets Edge, we like to talk about what's going on in the news of prediction markets and also some interesting counterpoints from other companies here. Joe, Exhibit, I should say, 29. While Kalshi has a dominant lead in prediction markets, Underdog is one of the next biggest names here. From Dustin Gawker, among prediction markets with flow outside of Kalshi, Underdog is one of the biggest, according to a recent Bank of America analyst report. How about that?
Well, I don't think that's shocking, Donnie, from the standpoint of that's quite the built-in audience they already have, right? So their customer base likely, you know, a lot of people using Underdog to begin with, right? It was one of the more popular, certainly if you didn't have any sports books available. So it feels like the transition might have been easier for there, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of shocked it's just Kalshi and then that's it, though, because I thought there were a few others that started to make some noise here in the market.
Look, people want to get ready to go by football season. That's always the goal. Dan Bernstein tweet here. Underdog will be fully integrated, Joe, with the prediction market exchange it bought by the start of the NFL season, according to Bank of America report, including a presence of an affiliated trading arm, transitioning from Crypto.com owner exchanged.
Interesting here, Donnie. I think there's going to be a few, and you're right. Everyone is trying to get ready and gearing up. We know that for the big football season. But I got to tell you, I mean, they came out with some numbers on the on what the World Cup is anticipated to bring in and handle across the board as well. So there's a lot of big events still between now and, let's say, August, Donnie, when we start to get to college football and, of course, the NFL just around the corner. So yeah, now's a good time to position yourself in the market for sure.
Yeah, we're coming up on about a year here from doing these shows, Joe, and talking about these prediction markets. Fly by night, and they'll be ruled out. And, you know, we've been telling you all along, as long as certain people get their cuts, your prediction markets might just take over the overall betting landscape here. And here we are, which means we're talking about game number 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, Joe. The Golden Knights taking on the Hurricanes. Game number 2 from Raleigh, North Carolina. Game number 1 was a stunner. You saw the early lead for the Carolina Hurricanes evaporate, and eventually the win went to the Golden Knights, and they have the series lead heading into tonight. However, heavy favorite as expected for the Hurricanes, Joe, on the Kalshi predicted markets. 59% chance for the Carolina Hurricanes to win this game tonight, back against the wall. If they do, a $100 investment, Joe, plays back $167 on those Hurricanes.
Yeah, and listen, you know, we saw the Hurricanes around a 60, 65 cent favorite heading into this series, Donnie, for game 1. And then, boy, oh boy, what a difference a day makes here, because now it's flipped as Vegas is now hovering around the 60, 65 cent favorite to win this series. So I'm not sure that we are going to get, if you hadn't jumped in already on Carolina, because you thought maybe 60, 65 cents was a little too rich, I don't know that you're going to get them less than the 43 cents, 44 cents they are right now in the market, Donnie. They win this game here tonight, they will be back to being favorites, I think, tomorrow morning. So if you like Carolina tonight, I would jump in on the series price as well.
Expecting a close game, maybe an overtime game, Joe? You can hammer that here on the prediction markets on Kalshi. This game goes to overtime, a yes contract of 24 cents, which means a $100 investment, Joe, pays back $417 if we get a close one tonight. Over to the WNBA today. We do have a doubleheader. Game number 1, 7 p.m. The Dream and the Fever. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Box office success, we'll find out. But also, Joe, you see the graphic, 52% there for Indiana. It's actually live at 51%. Almost 50-50 chances for Indiana and Atlanta tonight, Joe. Dream and the Fever, 7 p.m. Eastern. What do we see here tonight?
Yeah, the Dream and the Fever. It's not been a great run for the Fever as they're sitting at around 500. Atlanta and Angel Reese have been phenomenal, but it's not hard to figure out, right? If Caitlin Clark is not going, then this team has, had some issues so far this year. But I do think this is a good bounce back opportunity. I think it's a good buy low opportunity on Caitlin Clark and the Fever. I like them at home here tonight to get it done.
$100 investment on Caitlin Clark getting 20-plus points in on the Kalshi Marketplace will return 182. Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark tonight. The people will be watching. And if they're not, maybe they're tuning in a little bit later, Joe, for a 9 o'clock start in the WNBA between the Valkyries and the Lynx. And by the way, Lynx with the best record here in the WNBA and also the favorite tonight, listed at a 60% chance to win this game outright. So if you are just taking the Minnesota Lynx to win this one, a $100 investment pays back $164. Valkyries on the road, Joe, to take on the Lynx.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, these are two, I think, of the top four teams out west here. They're already positioning themselves in the Commissioner's Cup when that comes around. So, but I like Minnesota. It's kind of hard not to like Minnesota and what they have done here this year without one of the best players available to them in Collier for the season. So you got to love the team effort. Some of the younger players on this team are stepping up. I'm not stepping in front of the Minnesota Lynx train at this point, Donnie.
Nice weather expected today, Milwaukee. Now, you know the dome, but that should be open. Mid-80s here at first pitch. Why? It's an afternoon start, 2:10 p.m. Eastern. San Francisco's going to throw Hauser going up against Crow for Milwaukee. Heavy favorite. Overnight numbers, Joe. Minus 150s, minus 160s. Those are gone right now. We're talking about those minus 184 type price points here. But if you're looking at the Kalshi Marketplace, just a win for Milwaukee. Currently a 63% chance with the yes contract at 64 cents, which means a $100 investment pays back $157. Bouncing back on those Brewers today. Brewers in first place. San Francisco basically in last place in their division. What do you think happens today between the Giants and the Brew Crew?
Well, I think runs get scored off of Hauser. I'll tell you that. This kid Coleman Crow is one of the Brewers' better young pitching prospects, and he can great strikeouts, Donnie. A lot of swing and miss stuff in his arsenal here, and against a Giants team who has trouble, shall we say, scoring runs. Should be maybe an issue with some weather today as well. All of this leads me to think that maybe expecting the Brewers to score more runs than the Giants might not be a bad look in those markets.
Take a look at Kristen Yelich in this game. He hasn't hit a home run, Joe, going back to looks like May 25th. If he does hit a home run today, that yes contract is only 14 cents, which means a $100 investment on a Yelich home run would pay back handsomely, Joe, at $715. Alert, the Braves are playing today with their best pitcher on the mound, Chris Sale. Yes, they are a favorite, but also the best record in Major League Baseball. They're taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, and if they win today, which has a 65% chance on the Kalshi Marketplace, and a yes contract, Joe, of 66 cents, which means a $100 investment on Atlanta would pay back $152. But if you feel Chris Sale might get upset in this game and the Blue Jays win, a $100 investment returns $286 on those Jays.
It's so hard, Donnie, are we really going to step in front of Chris Sale and this Braves team right now? It's hard to do it. I think they're going with a rookie today, Toronto, who's still dealing with some injuries in the pitching situation here. I call me crazy. I think the Braves, we don't do this often, Donnie, at home, but it feels like this might be a good opportunity to lay, I don't know, half a run in the first five and think that Atlanta plays from in front in this one.
Also, Chris Sale, dating back to April 18th against the Philadelphia Phillies, 7 Ks, 9 Ks, 11 Ks, 7 Ks, 8 Ks, 8 Ks, and 8 Ks. So, well, Donnie, why are you talking about strikeouts here? Well, you take a look at the Kalshi prop marketplace. Sale to get 8+ strikeouts is currently trading at 44 cents, Joe, which means a $100 investment. You're getting plus money back there on Chris Sale being dominant today, along with those Braves. PME continues to roll on. We'll be back after this short break.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all 4.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
For Abdul Carter. Hey, son, you want to be a leader? Show up to meetings on time. Don't be late to practice. This guy's sitting there trying to tell me that he's got a problem with Jackson Dart going to a Trump rally when he can't even show up to a meeting on time? And he can't show up to practice and he's late? Dude.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Joe Ranieri's been waiting all of his life, or maybe since 1994, for the United States to host and have some fun in some World Cup action here. The wait is almost over, Joe. I know in your household then in South Florida, you guys can't think of anything else but the World Cup, which is a week away.
Yeah, it's huge, Donnie. In fact, Donnie, you want to laugh. There was just I got alerted yesterday where England is actually practicing on soccer fields not too far from where the studio is I'm in. So, yeah, they're scattered all throughout right now, getting some practice in before the World Cup.
The three lines. Who is Beckham over there? Is Wayne Rooney over there? Come on now. Those are the guys that we look back for, but maybe it's meant to be coming home to England. Could it be in the World Cup? What we're going to find out. The one thing we're going to find out in the World Cup is anybody actually going to be in the stands? Because either you can't figure out how to buy tickets, or when you buy tickets, FIFA's telling you didn't buy tickets and you don't get a refund for tickets, and switching the game plans all the way around. Hey, man, got awesome seats. Only for FIFA to tell you, yeah, good luck. You're in the upper deck now. Oh, man, FIFA struggling out here.
No, Donnie, this is just going to go from bad to worse. I mean, you got Motel 6s charging $500 a night, thinking that they're just going to be overrun with soccer fans. That is just so not the case. And they badly overestimated what they were going to be able to do. We kept hearing about demand being through the roof for these tickets, Donnie, and yet apparently the demand is not there because anybody who has them is selling them for half the price of the value on the face of the ticket. So not good, FIFA, not good.
When people figure you can go to your local bar, local pub, or stay in your living room with a nice TV, air conditioning, and have a nice six-pack that's very affordable, or you can go get robbed by FIFA to go to the games itself. And how about this? FIFA makes last grasp change to World Cup stadium rules. Why, Joe? Banning fans from bringing refillable plastic bottles, so they must buy water in the stadium. As of May, empty bottles permitted, so fans could refill amid heat concerns. Not now. So come in, and you know what? Honestly, Joe, I'd look at this like, that makes some sense. So if you don't have enough water fountains, hey, $1 or 2 bottles of water that the people can buy because it's hot, that's fair. You know the drill, Joe. Oh, you want to come in here and buy a bottle of Aquafina? $10. Ugh, you know it's coming.
Oh, it is. They're going to be $20 bottles of water, Donnie, and mostly out of the hose in the back there. So congrats, FIFA. Any which way to squeeze every last dollar. And you want people to overpay for tickets to come in there just to get ripped off once they get into the stadium. Hilarious.
MetLife Stadium, Joe. Sea of parking lots all the way around. FIFA's like, yeah, we don't want anybody to use the parking lots. That's going to go over swimmingly well here in the great state of New Jersey. But, Joe, if we're looking for contributions, we're not getting a lot from FIFA that are people happy about. You know where they might be happy? Messi versus Ronaldo on the Kalshi Marketplace. And we talk about contributions. It's not, hey, I'm going to sign autographs on the field. It's what have you done for me lately, Joe? Goals and assists here, with Messi the heavy favorite at 57% as a chance. Ronaldo here, 34%. People expect Messi to be a bigger contributor in the World Cup coming up here.
Well, I mean, he's certainly in better form right now, isn't he? And it would not shock me, Donnie, here at 58 cents, though. I think that's the only way I would look here. Don't know that I trust Cristiano Ronaldo right now to be able to get a few more than what Messi is, especially given the fact that there's a lot of buzz around Messi and his team here, maybe making a run again.
By the way, you want to cement yourself and your legacy in your own country, go and win a World Cup as a team. But you know what? Be the best player on the pitch, Joe. The Golden Boot winner, Mbappe, 16% chance on Kalshi. Harry Kane, 12%. And then Erling Haaland, love that name. And then we get down there and see Ronaldo and Messi, Joe. Mbappe, the favorite right now. But could it be the Tree Lions, Harry Kane getting it done?
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, Mbappe's got to be the best player that nobody likes that we have seen in any sport in a very long time. I mean, they just do not like him at all, but would not shock me if he ends up taking it home. But Harry Kane's always a good and solid play, Donnie, especially if you've got England in any sort of future situations.
Here are the markets that we like, Joe. Who's actually going to perform for the FIFA World Cup final halftime show? Some artists haven't been announced just yet and could be there. You know who we'd like to see? Justin Bieber go on stage with his YouTube channel, press play, and just sing karaoke. Do we want to see that, Joe? Because, by the way, 83% chance for him to perform, which lately has been up 62%. As we like to say, somebody, Joe, they know something.
Yeah, they already know, Donnie, and these are exactly one of those markets where just follow the market. Bieber is going to make an appearance here in some way, shape, or form. I don't know that anybody wants to see Coldplay, but apparently at 50 cents, almost 50 cents, Donnie, there's probably a pretty good chance they show up somewhere as well.
Who said this, Joe? Move it up, down, left, right, oh. Switch it up like Nintendo. Do you know that artist who's now trading at 10% to go and perform? Do you know that artist, Joe?
Is that Lil Wayne? Who is that? No? Is he not playing?
No. That's Sabrina Carpenter out here. Could she make an appearance? Well, you can wager on that here at Kalshi as well.
Oh, sorry. Wrong song.
Different decade. Different decade. World Cup. Third place finisher, which I guess means a lot for your country. But, boy, if it's Spain, France, or England, they ain't going to be happy about that. But they are the favorites, Joe. 16%, 16%, and 13%, with Brazil at 11% as well. Nobody wants to be the third wheel, Joe, do they?
No, but you know what? I don't mind Brazil or even Germany, Donnie, having a bigger showing than people are anticipating here. I mean, we forget Brazil; they're pretty good too, and that's a pretty good price to have that. Basically, I would ladder this as top three, right? Who finishes runner-up? Who finishes third? I think there's a couple of ways to approach it with teams like Brazil and Germany.
How about lucky number 7 down there, Joe? Currently trading at 7% here and a 7% chance. That's Team USA to finish in third place with home field advantage. But as we know, Joe, there can only be one winner of the World Cup, and that winner could be France. You know, they're trading at 17 cents right now, or 17%. Yeah. You know who's right behind them? Spain, Joe, 16.6. France, Spain, leaderboard up here. PSG just wins it. Can France win it? Boy, you want to see riots, Joe? Get France to win this World Cup and bring it back. We'll have thousands of arrests over there in Paris.
Well, I mean, listen, during the qualifying, I think France rattled off, 3 clean sheets here? And they did lose, 5-4 to Spain in the 2025 National League semifinal. So we'll see here. It's not going to be an easy run for France or Spain or England, for that matter.
You know, it's got close to a 10% chance. That's Portugal. That's Ronaldo here. More PME on TEL. Up next.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like 2, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Let me understand this, Joe. Are we going to have any broadcast games on TV anymore? It's all streaming?
You got to pay to watch here, folks. That's just the way it's going to be, one way or the other. And I'm sure this will satisfy, the FCC looking into the coercion that's going on here with the NBA NFL broadcast rights? Yeah, this is all par for the course, I think.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue that he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Sileo, only on SportsGrid.
I see him 15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark, and I think that makes sense, Donnie. I don't see him in the top 10. I really don't. I mean, when you look at, let's say, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you start going into that, teams like the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Chiefs, and, could they take a flyer?
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
Counting votes, Joe. It's something California struggles with. We don't know who's going to be mayor of L.A. We don't know who's going to be the actual, governor of the state of California, because it could take weeks for them to actually count all of the votes. Not here, Joe, because some of our votes don't even count, whereas we talk about fading the market. Let's go. Come on, who voted for the NBA draft? Knock it off here. I was trying to help for the FIFA World Cup, but apparently my vote doesn't count here, or maybe counts slightly. 2026 elections, the Memorial, which is a golf tournament. People want to talk about the draft? What? Who wants to talk about the draft, Joe? Come on.
Well, your vote doesn't count anyway. It hasn't counted all year, Donnie, for some reason. I can't believe you got banned before we even counted one of your votes here, but if the NBA draft is what everyone's about, listen, the NBA right now, right? This is one of the richest and deepest drafts that we have seen in I can't remember how long. So there's a lot of teams that lost a lot of basketball games this year in order to get one of these guys. So there's going to be some fun, I think, in the predictive markets with this year's draft.
No doubt about it. And by the way, also, the NBA is like, yeah, this is the last year you guys are going to be able to tank efficiently here if you want to do so. But we understand the generational talent that could be in this draft, which means pro basketball players drafted into the top 10. That is a Kalshi marketplace now. There are 4 players listed, Joe. Dibantzler, Wilson, Boozer, and Peterson. That if you click on yes, you don't even get a chance to invest because we know they're definitely going in the top 10. But we have Acuff Jr., Wagler, Flemings, Brown, Mara, all behind him here, Joe. Chances to make some money and invest. Where are we going? With the surefires? Or there's going to be those draft risers come lately.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to look towards the middle of the board, Donnie, and I am going to look, and again, we're talking top 10 here, right? So
correct.
We already know the Petersons of the world are going to go, but Nate Ament, I think, is a fantastic choice at about 50 cents right now out of Tennessee. This kid has got, all the tools. I would be shocked if he doesn't go top 10 in the draft. And at that price, Donnie, yeah, definitely worth taking a stab there with Nate Ament finishing in the top 10.
How about a little break behind him, Joe? Yaxel Lendeborg here, Michigan,
Yeah.
$100 investment pays back $385 if he goes top 10. Now, also, sometimes we like to know where these players come from as opposed to where they're drafted to. International born players drafted in round number 1 on the Kalshi Marketplace. Well, look, one of those players to be drafted is listed at 99%. You click the yes, you can't even invest. With 2 of those players, Joe, do the same thing. You can't invest. But now we start to see 3, 4, and 5s with different numbers. 92%, 72%, 34%. If we get 5+ international-born players drafted there, where do we sit in this list, Joe? You get a little bit, you say, look, I'll take 3. It looks like a surefire thing. Or do you slip down there to 4 or 5?
Well, this is not one of those Wemby French wave years this year. Not to mention, Donnie, that the NIL is keeping a lot of these international players might be hanging around a little bit longer in college than before. But most reports have about maybe 1 or 2 college international players, and maybe 2 at most there, 2 to 3 actual playing internationally right now. I would look at the 5+. That would be, and again, this is in the first round total, and we know there are GMs and teams, Donnie, that love to show how smart they draft guys internationally that nobody's ever heard of. That's likely. I think 5+ is where the value is.
How about the value of the number 2 overall pick? Most people think Dybance is going to go number 1. We just don't know which city he's going to or if a trade is going to be made. But the leader to be drafted number 2 overall is Darren Peterson here. He's at a 65% chance. So if you feel there's going to be an upset with that number 1 pick and you think Dybance will go number 2, Joe, a $100 investment would pay back $625 if Dybance goes number 2 overall.
Just combo them, Donnie. Just play which one. Play the no or the yes between Dybance and Darren Peterson, and it's likely going to be 1-2 in that order. Either way, you're going to be able to profit from it.
If somebody slips up there, you get Cameron Boozer at 16% here, so a $100 investment pays back $625. But then again, Joe, the 3rd overall pick, the heavy favorite is? It's Boozer. 66% chance, yes contract, 66 cents. A $100 investment pays back $152 if that 3rd pick is Boozer, which things get a little bit slippery at that point. But it looks like we have a consensus 1, 2, 3. We just don't know the exact order of that 1, 2, 3.
Same thing with Caleb Wilson, too. And those Boozer and Wilson, right? 3 and 4 are top 5 markets there. We know who the top 5 guys are going to be. We just don't know the order, Donnie.
We don't, but you know what's going to happen? Friday is tomorrow. More PME on TEL. That's what's going to go down, people. So thanks for tuning in today. We will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your afternoon.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all 4.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi Marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75+ wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Craig. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
For Abdul Carter. Hey, son, you want to be a leader? Show up to meetings on time. Don't be late to practice. This guy's sitting there trying to tell me that he's got a problem with Jackson Dart going to a Trump rally when he can't even show up to a meeting on time? And he can't show up to practice and he's late? Dude.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.